This is the official CBC Olympics Instagram post, reposting stuff like, more like Tate McRae. Am I right? It's not just Alberta that's considering leaving Canada. Other provinces are joining as well. We're going to start this video off with this clip from Unacceptable Fringe. Then we're going to kind of weave in some other stuff, but eventually we'll get to those other provinces. Enjoy.
Albertans are fed up. They've had enough. And what's funny is that so many people are mad about the democratic right of citizens that this alone, while people are saying, well, why are you always talking about Alberta? What I'm trying to show you here is that the country itself is broken. Their leaders are openly attacking citizens for exercising their democratic rights.
Okay, then Fringe reads off this post from Jason Kenney, but Kenney is quoting Stephen Harper. Instead of that, I'll just play the clip from Stephen Harper. The quote is towards the end of this clip. It's still a short clip here from former PM Harper.
I will repeat that. I sincerely hope that mine is just one of many portraits of prime ministers from both parties that will continue to be hung here for decades and centuries to come. But that will require that in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their other differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against...
Are you joking, dude? Your elbow's up too? I mean, I haven't even got to the meat of his statement yet. This is incredible. The left-wing politicians will insult the right wing, call people treasonous, things like that. This is the right-wing politician in Canada.
But that will require that in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their other differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against domestic policies that threaten our unity. We must preserve Canada, this country handed down to us by Providence, preserved by our ancestors and held in trust for our descendants. We must make any sacrifice necessary to preserve the independence and the unity of this blessed land.
Look, he was a good prime minister, so I'm not going to say it, but I'm tempted to say there, F Stephen Harper. You don't get it, bro. How about this? How about Ontario and Quebec? You guys find unity there. The Eastern, and then probably geographically, you could take Atlantic Canada. How about the unity goes there? My entire life, what's Canada done for Western provinces? Very little. In fact, it's held them back in many cases. Oh my gosh, bro. Who are the right-wing politicians in this country? Where are they? The left-wing politicians, you're treasonous, blah, blah, blah.
But I think as all Canadians, to just say, look, if you are crossing a border to seek the support of a foreign government to break up our country, because you don't have the support and the resources and the ability within our own country to advance that conversation, and you're asking the Americans or any other government for help, I mean, that is the definition of treason. Then what actually are we standing for as Canadians? We have to...
Look, I want to continue to drive this point home. The left-wing politicians in Canada do not care how offensive their remarks are to right-wing people in Canada. The opposite is not true. Poilievre, all the mainstream CPC people, they walk around on eggshells. They don't want to offend the left-wingers. The left-wing politicians, David Eby, Stephen Guilbeault.
The Alberta government further weakened its industrial carbon pricing system. 1 week after signing the Memorandum of Understanding. So I sincerely doubt that Premier Smith has any intention of making good on those commitments, and I don't think provinces should pick and choose which environmental laws they want to respect.
Justin Trudeau, they do not care how offensive their remarks are to the right wing. The right wing in Canada, unless it changes that, will never win. It tries way too hard to simultaneously win elections and be nice. Those two things are not always in congruence with one another, and the left wing just keeps winning and winning and winning. The right wing politicians, we must come together. How are the right wing, the Conservative Party, ever going to win again? We'll head back to Fringe here.
Jason Kenney, we must preserve Canada, this country handed down to us by Providence, In fact, you can see down here in the topics when people say, why are we always talking about Alberta? Saskatchewan.
So as you can see, Saskatchewan there, we'll get to that. First, I'm going to make one point about Kenney. Did you see the one criticism Jason Kenney had of Pierre Poilievre's conservative convention speech?
The one thing I would suggest that he maybe didn't address is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. To pretend that the president of the world's superpower attacking us weekly is not an issue, I think misses the moment to some extent.
It is so crazy how many of these big voices in the Conservative Party apparently do not want to win, have no interest in trying to win. This is clown world, bro. And then once again, back to Fringe just for a little bit here.
In fact, you can see down here in the topics when people say, why are we always talking about Alberta? Saskatchewan Prosperity Project chimes in. We tried to fix Canada several times. Remember the Reform Party? Remember when the West wanted in? Well, the West wants out now. Canada's broken system remains, and staying in it would be absolutely ludicrous for Alberta and Saskatchewan. So it's not just about Alberta anymore. In fact, British Columbia has had citizens start their own BC Prosperity Project. So the West wants out.
We'll touch on British Columbia after, but here's a video on that Saskatchewan Prosperity Project.
In a hall near Saskatoon, over 200 people have come to hear from the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project, a group promoting Saskatchewan's independence from Canada. The group's president, Brad Williams, focuses on Western alienation and what he says are the economic and political benefits of separation.
Freedom, hope, prosperity for our children, for their futures, because right now in Canada it's a sinking ship, and if we don't take our little lifeboat and throw it out and get off all we can, we're going down with the ship. And we don't have to. We are giving away so much money to Ottawa. We're so controlled. We're losing our freedoms.
The Saskatchewan Prosperity Project is following in the footsteps of the Alberta Prosperity Project. Over the last 5 weeks, Williams has held public education sessions in close to 10 communities around the province, including Swift Current, Prince Albert, and Meadow Lake.
So, of course, the Alberta movement right now is much bigger, but we will see what happens in Saskatchewan. Now we'll take a quick look at British Columbia. So here's the X account for the BC Prosperity Project. Joined January 2026, a month ago, already 4,000 followers. I've seen a lot of people posting about this recently. Are Canadians and British Columbians suffering from political Stockholm syndrome? And yeah, I've definitely seen this account take off. I saw Corey Morgan talked about this on YouTube. I'm not going to play much of this video, but he did make a full video on this. BC's independence movement is taking off. 15,000 views in just 2 days. Again, just like with Saskatchewan, we will see what happens in British Columbia. Okay, this is kind of a fun one. This is from the official CBC Olympics and CBC Sports Instagram pages. Is Tate McRae for Alberta independence? I obviously say that tongue in cheek, but she promoted not Canada, but Team USA at the Olympics. This is, again, the official CBC accounts on Instagram. They say, internet reacts to Tate McRae's promotion for Team USA. Tate McRae, who's from Calgary, Alberta, is doing Olympic promos for Team USA. More like Tate McRae, am I right? That's from the official, again, CBC Olympics account, is apparently very triggered by this. Cry harder, okay? This is so funny. Tate McRae doing promo for the Super Bowl and the Winter Olympics. Oh, the Canadian princess of pop is here. Maybe she just doesn't think Canada is doing so well. Again, I don't actually think, I don't know. This probably did not factor in to her decision-making. Canada unity, Alberta independence, but this is very funny. Team USA, ? Aren't you Team Canada at Tate McRae? Meet Team USA. Tate, my Canadian princess. You need to stand up. Embrace your Albertan roots. I think the funniest part about this by far is this is the official CBC Olympics Instagram post. Reposting stuff like, more like Tate McRae, am I right? That's unbelievable. I think that's definitely worth bringing up. Cry harder, CBC, okay? You're probably going to cry even harder when all these independence movements hopefully work out.